Is it just me, or is Gus flirting the least sexual thing you've ever seen in your entire life? The wine, the swirling, the fancy pants. Oh, this very expensive wine. Oh, it tastes so delicious. Oh, this swine. He didn't know good wine if it would slap him in the face. Oh, he just liked a rum and coke. A Diet Coke. How dare he watch his sugar levels? Swirl, swirl. Oh, I'm a fancy boy. No, Gus. No, you're a monster, and I hate you. And I know that at some point there was like, a lover, the other chicken brother lover that, is why he's sad and angry and mean all the time. But I don't really care because he's an awful man. Hey guys, I'm Jax and this is my spoiler review for Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 9. So, I can't believe they did this, but I guess with so few little episodes left, it makes sense to kind of get us to that point that we've all been waiting for. But I really seriously can't believe that after there was the nacho thing early in the season, but the first 6 episodes of this season were kind of this slow, methodical, kind of slow burn, slowly kind of building everything up. And then we have just been assaulted with a 1, 2, 3 punch of characters being kicked out of the series. Howard dies. Lalo dies. Kim is exited from the show for now. Thank God she didn't get killed and buried under the meth lab with every single character that didn't commit suicide in Better Call Saul, which is horrifying to think. But thank God it wasn't a traumatic, horrible ending in death-wise, but in emotion, yes. It was, I don't know, really, really upsetting, a fantastic scene, and it comes at that same kind of shocking quick and it is built up and we've been kind of building to a moment like this, but it still feels so shocking and horrifying when it happens, having this moment kind of not come out of nowhere, but just hit us. We're all walking around, we're all just in the aftermath of the Howard death, we're all taking a big deep breath, kind of feel like this episode is just gonna kind of, be that breather between big episodes, and then this huge just twist, I suppose, but not a twist because it's, I can see it coming. I'm not shocked after the moment, but it is still just horrifying and so tragic to see Kim just quit. She quits. I cannot believe she quit. She's just like, I'm done. Actually, Jimmy, when you really look at it, when you kind of take a step back and look at our relationship, we're super toxic. And we're kind of okay by ourselves. Are they? But then it's combined, just real awful people that make everyone else's lives awful. And it's just horrifying for her to realize the truth, which is, they are horrible. They are scheming scammers, and they. Where will it end? Unless one of them just goes, maybe it's enough. And that heartbreaking line where he's like, but I love you. And she's like, so what? Oh my God. I don't know. This episode just felt such a breather. I felt like I was like, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Then Kim's like, big lie to Howard's wife, name I've forgotten. And she's just like, actually, I saw Howard doing drugs one time. So maybe you did know him because you're the what? And just just everything about that. I'm like, Kim, this is pure evil. It's his wake. This is pure evil. And then thank God she's just doing it to kind of make sure they're clear. But then she's like, that's it. I'm done. This is way too far. We've gone way too far. Because they have gone way too far. So it's kind of really satisfying that she kind of realizes and stops before they kind of kill each other in some, by just keep scamming and getting deeper and deeper into it. But it's also terrifyingly heartbreaking and kind of tragic because that she's gotten clean, but this is that moment that just spirals him into full Saul Goodman mode, which we then get a brilliant scene of him getting ready in the morning, which just the goosebumps on my goosebumps. They had goosebumps and they were all hanging out, just goosebumps on each other. It was a glorious end to an episode. Seeing the big, colourful mansion, all with him actually living in it, and just that morning routine it was so much fun. I honestly couldn't believe how exciting it was. I had this little sneaking suspicion. I'm like, oh, I really hope the end of this scene is him going into the office and then he's like, ready for the day's work. Pretty much what we got. But all I also really, really thought was going to happen was the door was going to open and then Walter White in his hat, in that get-up that he's done, his little, you can't see who I am, glasses and hat kind of disguise, and he comes in and then Saul Goodman does his, what is this, bloody DB Cooper, whatever joke he says in that first episode, and then it cuts to black. I'm not disappointed that didn't happen, but I really feel like that would have been a really nice time to be like, we're now up to Breaking Bad timeline. But I presume that we're not going to just jump into him dealing with Walter and Jesse and all that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, at this point, who knows how much time we're going to spend in the Breaking Bad timeline, how much time we're going to spend in the Gene timeline. Because I really did think we were going to spend way more time dealing with Lalo. Obviously, I was wrong about that. Then I thought there'd be more time just with him and Kim before they broke up or she died or whatever happened. I was wrong with that as well. Only one episode. So now we still have 4 full episodes. So I'm really hoping for 2 full during Breaking Bad. Just give us extra scenes weaving throughout that entire series. And then 2 full Gene episodes. I think that would be really, really satisfying. And just so much time to be able to kind of fully delve into these kind of stories. And, you know, I don't know. It's just very, very exciting. This feels like somehow they've been able to make it feel like not rushed, but still kind of quick and shocking in that kind of tragic, horrible way. Like, I understand where Kim's coming from, but it's also so devastating. Like, the main thing that really kind of, like, makes my heart feel sick and just like, oh, and I can see why Saul gets so angry in their breakup scene and so kind of scared and hurt and, you know, he's kind of freaking out and stuff. Because it's like, is it all going to be for nothing? Like, everything they did to Howard, if she used to quit being a lawyer, which she does, it was all kind of for nothing. Like, they were doing this so she could have her plans, so she could have her, you know, big office and do her lawyer stuff, and so much good would come from it. And I always knew that, like, that wasn't going to go to plan in some way. But for her just to quit and be like, nah, I'm not really, like, a good lawyer. I need to get out of this whole situation. It just makes it all so much more tragic and so much more like, oh, you really shouldn't have done this to Howard. Like, oh, you were driving to that meeting, but you just... That little slip in Kimmy part of her mind was like, I've got to come back. I've got to do the shooting with all the little film students. We've got to do a little scam. I've got to get that scam juice up in my veins. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so human. It's truly brilliant writing, and it just makes me sick inside to think that she just went, actually, no, we went too far. I'm going to quit. It's all for nothing then. It is all for nothing. And then you make Saul even more Saul. And it just... this was a painful but brilliant episode. Probably my favorite of the season, just with that last 5 minutes. Just really just everything kind of coming up. Just that moment of her just like being in that, like, the courtroom. And she's just like, I can't be in this case. I'm like, oh man, she's all sad and stuff. And she's going to say something about like, I'm a bit of a criminal or something. But she's like, I quit. I'm not even a lawyer. Just in a state of awe. And then seeing Saul like kind of screech and the car's going really, really fast. And you just the tension building. And just that kind of stress and anxiety. And just being like, but Kim, what about everything that's happened this season? What do you mean you've quit? And I just felt like I was so much on Saul's level at that moment. Even though I totally understand. I think Kim did kind of the right thing. But it just... Oh, it's messy and it's very well done. And I can't applaud the writers any more than just being like, hail to these writers for crafting such just great television that just made me feel so many different emotions so quickly, but yet it feels very satisfying. And when we wake up with Saul, with his rotating bed and his 200,000 different tires all up, it was just this glorious moment of like, we are finally here, and it all felt worth it, and it all feels like, yes, everything that is built up to this moment. And then I was waiting for that last thing. Like, what is there going to be that last thing that leads him to be the Saul Goodman that we know from Breaking Bad? And it's Kim just being like, we went too far. And that clearly triggers him to go, nah, you're wrong. We all did it so we could be these lawyers. Like, I'm just going to embrace it now. And he fully embraces it and becomes the Saul we know. And it's just, just their parting of ways. Yeah, incredible stuff. Other things that happened in this episode, Don Eladio. Don Eladio's in it and he's all like smoking his big cigar, sitting there, you know, just being like, ha, I'm chewing scenery as the big boss, Love it, love him. I don't really have anything else to say. Really satisfying to kind of get this closure on Gus's arc. It kind of leads to that really bizarre, like, happy moments, like that happy montage of him opening all the blinds in his house and letting his son come in. He's all like, I'm a happy Gus now. And just, well, I don't know, just really didn't like seeing happy Gus. I really did enjoy the end of his weird flirty scene where he's all like, oh, I'm happy having a sexy spin the wine, drink, oh, sexy Gus flirting, blah, blah, blah. It then ends with him, like, finishing the drink and just, like, his face just, he's all like, actually, no, I'm not happy. I'm always a sad, gloomy man. And it's like, good, you deserve it. What you did to Nacho and just generally who you are as a person, a bad man. So I don't really feel bad for him, but I did like that they kind of went, oh, maybe he's a bit happy. Oh no, he's just pretending. He's actually not. And that was really satisfying. And I almost feel bad for saying that, but And I've just got to remember all the scenes that made me dislike Gus more and more this season, and just, yeah, it's really just this season, even though throughout all of it, because every time he versus the Salamancas, I'm like, yeah, well, he's the worst man ever, but they are the worst man ever. Whereas I feel like Nacho was always kind of the heart of the show in this way that other characters weren't. Like, he's always trying to get out, at least, for most of the series. And just how he was dogged by Gus really just doesn't sit well with me. And I just find him an unpleasant man to experience having joy in this show. Because he never really had joy, in Breaking Bad. He just had joy in torturing a man with a bell. So, I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting to see him kind of have that final showdown with Don Eladio. He's just kind of like, he put all the chess pieces in place, so it didn't make sense for him to be, turned on. And we all kind of know how it's going to play out. But I do find the fact that the Salamancas, like, Hector is so mad. He's so mad at Gus. I really don't see why he wouldn't just take it out on Nacho's father. Like, the whole thing is he sacrificed himself so Nacho's father wouldn't die. But wouldn't they just, like, isn't like it a cartel thing to be like, oh, the rat, we're going to kill your family, we're going to kill your aunties, we're going to kill your uncles. That guy who mowed your lawn 6 years ago, we're going to kill him. Because if you screw with us, we'll kill everybody. And that's kind of the threat. It's not just like, we'll kill you. We'll kill everybody you've ever met and loved and known or anything. And that kind of extra layer of horror and terror and monstrosity is kind of what makes them the cartel. And, I don't know. Maybe that's just me overthinking and over kind of going, aren't they just more kind of monstrous than we could possibly imagine? So I just think that Hector would just kill the dad just to kind of be like, because he's shooting the body, he probably pissed on it when they were driving away and just all these awful things to Nacho. Wouldn't he then just kind of want to like kill everyone Nacho ever met, like burn the house down, just do all the things? At least in spite to Gus. So I don't know, that scene where Mike is like, don't even worry about the Salamancas. It was really good for like those two characters and like how Mike is like, we're going to get justice. And the dad's like, I'm actually the only person with a moral center in this show. So, no, that's not justice, that's revenge. Which is a brilliant scene, just these two characters and their two different kind of ideologies, which I loved. But it kind of reminded me of that thought I have, especially when I was talking to a mate, and we're just because he just summed it up in a way where I was like, oh yeah, why wouldn't they just kill the dad? Like, they said they wouldn't, but they could just still do it. Like, he's dead now. I don't know, I'd be interested if people still kind of see it like that. Because I know that the Salamancas, they do get taken out eventually, but there's a big time jump. Because when we get the time jump in this episode, Saul, he's usually got his beautiful, beautiful hair, but this episode is all like, getting that slimy comb over it, just, blah! Honestly, that was probably the most horrifying thing this episode. Like I said, the Gus thing, the Gus flirting upset me, but that's kind of, just like a surface level upsetting. Something that I'm probably going to have nightmares about is losing my hair. I don't think about it daily, but that's a lie. I kind of do. It's a terrifying thought. Imagine just... So Slip and Kimmy and Slip and Jimmy have finally broken up, and it was tragic, it was heartbreaking, it was devastating, but where do we go from here? I am just super excited, super keen to see Better Call Saul kind of throughout the Breaking Bad timeline, and then we get our Gene black and white flash forward timeline. I'm super keen to see it all, but I am curious now, like, when is Kim coming back? Like, I was so kind of confident that we'd get some Kim throughout Breaking Bad. At this point, it feels uncertain, but maybe that's the whole thing, is how she comes back into the fold later because of Walter White. I am very keen to see how this all plays out, and to see these final 4 episodes. I feel like it's ramping up to a point where, like, for so much of the show, like, at the end of that season where he's like, call me Saul, Better Call Saul, or whatever he said. It was like, my name's Saul Goodman, or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, we're here at Better Call Saul. But now, truly, him walking into the office and the names, like, they're the big wavy inflatable Statue of Liberty, which I always thought that we'd see him get it off that couple, the Kettlemans. I thought we'd see that kind of play out, but I guess he just got inspired. He was like, oh, buy one of those too. That's a good idea. Sure. Doesn't really matter. But I also really did like just that kind of transition of emotional state that they must have gone through, him and his assistant, where there's that scene where she's showing Kim around. She's like, I want it to be welcoming and happy and nice and, family orientated and beautiful and, homely and comforting, but also professional and this and that. Whereas now you walk in and it's what we saw, which is just nothing, stale, cheap, just, she's locked herself in a separate room so she's not with all the criminal types that are in the waiting room. And then when you open his area, he's got the Roman things and, all that stuff that we had from Breaking Bad. And it's just kind of that emotional switch of like, he was at such a place, even in that same location, doing the same thing. But now, because of Kim leaving, this is what it looks like. Here we are. And yeah, I don't know, just that was very satisfying to see. And him just sitting there being like, "Bo, justice for all, something, something, but I'm a criminal," or whatever he said, you know. Something was probably a metaphor or whatever. But just, I honestly haven't felt this way at the end of an episode for so long. It just felt like this kind of, I cannot believe we're here. We're here! We made it. He better called the Saul or whatever. No, now he is the Saul that is the Better Call Saul. No. That was an end of an episode of Better Call Saul. Nope. Ha! I got it. Better Call Breaking Bad because Saul's here. Nope, that's bad, sir. Bring. Hello? No, I'm sorry. You got the wrong number. I think you Better Call Saul. Nope. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know what everyone thought of this episode of Better Call Saul.